ladies and gentlemen. He's a child of God, a husband, NRA conservative, radical right-wing supervillain, and Twitter rock star. American by birth, Texan by choice, and a badass by nature. He's the owner of TomO'Halloran.com, O'HalloranMedia.com, and PatriotRadio.net. Please welcome Tom O'Halloran.
Today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
And welcome. It's the Wednesday edition of the Patriot Radio Show, and I'm your host, Tom O'Halloran. And I'm broadcasting today from my underground bunker deep in Arkansas, Nebraska. And I'm here to educate, irritate, and agitate. Folks, I guarantee you full 100% agitation by the time this hour's over, or you'll get triple your money back at the door. Again, my name's Tom O'Halloran. My primary blog is TomO'Halloran.com. When you get there, please be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Spreaker, any other social media that you fancy. Also, please follow my editor, Veronica Coffin. Veronica manages 14 websites on my network, and without her doing that, I couldn't do this. You'll find her follow button at the bottom of each and every post. On Facebook, we're facebook.com/Patriot Radio Show. And I am on Facebook now much more than Twitter, so find me at facebook.com/O'Halloran as well. If you'd like to join the conversation today, my studio line is open. The number is 832-761-1766. And I'm on air 5 days a week, so please tune in every Monday through Thursday for this, the Patriot Radio Show. We air at 9 a.m. Texas time. On Fridays, I do something different. I do Jihad on America, where I cover the Islamists in America. I tell you who they are, what they want, and why you should be afraid. If you did not catch my show on the Muslim Brotherhood, my show, Islam is Not a Religion, or my show on Islamophobia, then please find your way to PatriotRadioshow.com and listen to all three of these shows. They will give you insight and perspective on a topic you've probably not heard anywhere else. It'll also lay a solid foundation upon which we build each and every Friday as we continue pulling back the mask of Islam, looking at what's being done in the name of Allah, both here and abroad. And I do the news about Islam around the world because it's a glimpse into the future of what's in store for America if we continue to allow the cancer of Islam to spread here in the homeland. Keep abreast of my shows. Listen to the archives of any shows that you may have missed, all at PatriotRadioshow.com. I'd like to thank my sponsors, Dr. Dave Krupa. Dr. Krupa is a chiropractor in the Houston area, but he's also a nutritional health specialist, and this he can help you with no matter where you're located. Dr. Krupa doesn't dispense drugs from Big Pharma, the drugs that you hear advertised on TV with long disclaimers about the problems that the drug may give you. No, he finds what ails you and actually finds natural supplements to heal your body naturally, the way God intended. Also like to thank the VFW, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, great organization of veterans who have served in foreign conflicts. They exist to support the families, our veterans and their families, I should say. Please get involved with the VFW post near you. In the Houston area, the post I belong to in Tomball, we hold bingo 3 nights a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Play bingo, raise money through bingo to support our veterans and their families. We also have dances. A couple times a month we have typically country western bands come in and do dances. So go to the website. Website for them is vfwpost2427.org. Keep an eye on the calendar. Our next dance is coming up in 2 Saturdays. I'd also like to thank the Republic of Texas. Their website is thetexasrepublic.com. This is an organization of men and women fighting to regain international recognition for Texas as a sovereign, self-governing nation. You see what's happening in America today. It may be too late to save America, but it's not too late to save Texas. And the Republic of Texas is fighting to ensure that we get the freedom and liberty that we grew up with in America. You'll find their website at thetexasrepublic.com. And lastly, if you feel you have a radio show in you, if you're listening to this show, you're probably right of center. If you're anything of a conservative or libertarian, take a look. Take a look at rednationradio.com. You can have your own radio show 1 day a week for as little as $50 a month. You've got an hour on air. If you want a second hour, it's half price. You can do 2 hours a week for as little as $75. Take a look at rednationradio.com. It is a radio station that I built. And we're just starting to book up slots. So whatever time you want, you've got a good chance of getting the day and time that you're looking for if you come over and inquire now. So, with that done, the preliminaries out of the way, we're going to roll into one of the, what you might call, traditions here at the Patriot Radio Show is reminding you who Obama is bringing into our country. He's continually telling you that we need to open our borders and bring in the undocumented workers. These are just Maria and Luis want to come over and pick strawberries, find a better way for themselves. But what they failed to tell you about are people like Jose Rivas, a Colombian illegal who was convicted in Florida for conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute cocaine. He was sentenced to 20 years for imprisonment. Or Luis Ivan Nino Duenes, a Mexican illegal alien, member of the Gulf Cartel, was sentenced in Texas to 5 years in prison for a firearms conviction. Folks, Donald Trump was right. We are getting a lot of the bad guys coming over from Mexico. People like Jose Ramon Escobedo Gonzalez, a Mexican illegal convicted of drug trafficking in Idaho and sentenced to 19 years in prison. Mexican illegals Julio Cesar Flores Martinez and Francisco Padilla Perez were convicted in Texas of attempting to smuggle an assault rifle magazines into Mexico. And Luis Michael Madrid Romero, a Honduran illegal alien who pled guilty in Louisiana for illegally re-entering following deportation. He had previously been convicted in California for felony domestic violence. These are not all nice people that are coming across our borders, ladies and gentlemen. Please be aware. Donald Trump was right. Obama is opening the borders up. He doesn't care who comes across as long as he dilutes and diminishes American society. The American Judeo-Christian society, the American way of life that you know is going to be a thing of the past. And he doesn't care how many people get raped, murdered, get their drugs, or get their car stolen, how many people get run over by drunk illegal aliens. Obama doesn't care. We need to elect somebody that does care. Vote for Donald Trump. Next up, you know this show. You know we are very, very pro-law enforcement. And you know that because we're law enforcement, we uncover police misconduct. Police misconduct used to get swept under the rug. before the video cams, before everybody had an iPhone in their pocket to film a bad guy with his hands cuffed behind his back getting a beat down by police. This was happening and people were getting away with it. Cops were doing traffic stops and physically frisking young ladies, sometimes forcing them into sex because they're off on a side road somewhere and they can get away with it. Stops were being made and drugs taken from the bad guys and kept and resold. None of this was being prosecuted years ago. If it was a very, very small amount. But today with video cams, it's kind of hard to deny that your partner was doing a bad thing. And we're seeing more and more of it. And when we see it, we uncover it here on the show to let you know that although it's a small fraction, probably less than 1%, that are bad seeds, they are being addressed. So each week we go through and read mostly bullet points. We don't get deep into the stories of these, but we're going to go through a list. All of these have been in the news in the last couple of days. Some of these have just started their process. Some of them are just coming through the judicial process. So some of these are updates. Santa Clara County, California, 2 deputies were arrested in unrelated incidents. One illegally accessed a confidential database to find information on people he knew, and the other filed a false injury claim. So you can't use police databases to investigate people that you know. Georgia State Police. A trooper was fired after a fatal automobile crash killed 2 teens. The now former trooper has previous crashes on his record. It's unclear whether criminal charges are being considered. Update, Rochester, New York. An officer had criminal hit-and-run charges against him dropped. He remains suspended pending an internal investigation. Lafayette Parish, Louisiana. The parish settled a brutality lawsuit brought by a former inmate for $400,000. According to the report, 2 deputies sprayed him with pepper spray and beat him in a holding cell, breaking 3 of his ribs and puncturing a lung. He says they then left him restrained in a chair for an hour before taking him to a hospital. 2 deputies who did not report the incident were brought up on administrative charges but remain with the department. The 2 deputies who allegedly perpetrated the assault were fired and face criminal charges. Okay, so there are 2 deputies who weren't involved but didn't report it. They're on administrative charges, but they're still with the department. But the 2 who actually did the crime that beat this guy down were fired and face criminal charges, as they well should. Update, Owasso, Oklahoma. First reported in June. An officer was charged in an excessive force case for beating a motorist with the butt of a shotgun in an incident caught on tape. This is the same officer who was fired and reinstated by an arbitrator in 2012 for excessive force for elbowing an inmate in the face. In February of this year, he was awarded $280,000 in back pay for the time he was terminated before his reinstatement. $280,000 given to this guy after abusing people, and then he goes back and does it again. Maybe he's looking for suspension so he can make another $280,000. Buffalo, New York. A now former officer was sentenced to 6 months in jail in order to pay $100,000 in restitution for filing a false disability claim. They're cops. And when you figure there are probably 500,000, 600,000, 700,000 police officers in the United States, you're going to get some bad seeds. Some of them are bad thuggish, like the ones pepper spraying and beating a criminal in a cell. Some of them are bad, lazy, filing false disability claims and stuff. Just like in any career, in any walk of life, when you get that many people, no matter how hard you try to weed out the bad ones, you're going to get some bad seeds. Continuing, in Orlando, Florida, 2 officers were fired for rupturing the spleen of an inmate who was bound hand and foot. They ignored his screaming pleas for help for 2 hours before taking him to the hospital. El Rio, Florida, an officer pled no contest to a DUI after a crash. He was given 90 days in jail, with all but 3 of those suspended. Wait a minute. 90 days in jail with all but 3 of those suspended. Oh, I was thinking all but 3 months. Okay, all but 3 days suspended. 3 days not suspended will be used for alcohol abuse classes. Now, this is wrong. They should be held to this at least the same standard as us. I don't know of any state where if you're drunk, if you're driving under the influence, you have to do at least 30 days. At least 30 days. A lot of states are 60 and 90 days for the first offense. This guy gets 3 days in jail, and that's going to be used for classes? Seriously? He's a cop. He needs classes? Cleveland, Mississippi, an officer was accused of extortion in a ticket-fixing scheme. Scumbag. Kentucky State Police, a trooper pled guilty to sex with a minor. 4 troopers were terminated and charged for having sexual contact with the same girl. And only 1 pled guilty. Providence, Rhode Island. An officer was arrested for threatening his superiors. Ooh, not a good move, no matter what your career is. He's already been suspended for weapons tampering violations. Honolulu, Hawaii. A now former officer was was sentenced to 4 years probation for assaulting his then girlfriend and pointing his service weapon at her head. Mount Vernon, Ohio. A detective was arrested by the FBI for extortion and drug trafficking. Update. Belchertown, Massachusetts. The chief resigned. We get a lot of chiefs doing bad stuff. A lot of them. This is the first one this week, but typically in this list there's 2 or 3. Of course, they're chief of a 10 or 12-man department, typically. So the chief resigned after a report of a drunk driving incident in February that recently went public. He was pulled over by another jurisdiction and was driven home by officers without citation or arrest. Auburn, New York. An officer was arrested with 3 corrections officers for an off-duty incident at a state park. No details on that. That'd be interesting to find out about. Update. Hatch, New Mexico. An officer was indicted for false imprisonment and pled not guilty. Alabama State Police. A trooper was arrested for domestic violence. And finally, Greenville, Tennessee. A now former officer sentenced to 18 months in prison for misconduct. He had sexual relationships with several jail inmates. That's the list. Ladies and gentlemen, please tune in tomorrow when I have my... And I'm not signing off. I'm just going to a break here. Tune in tomorrow when I have my new co-host, Dear Daisy. It's Daisy Donovan on Thursdays. Stick around. We'll be right back. Shout out to my chat room, Daisy Donovan, KC, and Doc Krupa. Can't see if he's there, but he's always there. We'll be right back, folks.
It's that time again. It's what you've been dreading all year. It can be confusing, difficult, even painful. It has driven countless people to worry and to despair. It's something you hate, but something you have to do. It gets under your skin, and it can get you in over your head. It is income taxes. Now it is easier. It is faster. It can make you happy. It is less expensive than H&R Block and TurboTax. It will get you your biggest refund faster. It starts free. It is efile.com. efile.com. We make income taxes fast and easy.
How's it going, JR fans? Nick Libretti here, and today we're smoking the Oliva Cane Daytona. Another home run from the Oliva Company. Guys, this is the Cane Daytona. Medium to full body Nicaraguan smoke, Habano wrapper on it, burns really, really nice. Hints of coffee, really, really creamy, flavorful smoke. This thing changes flavors on me 4 or 5 times throughout the cigar. It's excellent. 3 words I would use to describe this thing: impeccable, complex, and out of this world. That's more than 3 words. Stop counting. We have 3 sizes, everything from a 46 to a 60 ring gauge. Get them right now at jrcigars.com.
Hi there, my name is Mark Cranenberg, and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to talk about my favorite order from Chicago Steak Company. It's the Classic Crime Assortment. All right, well, let's open up and have a look what's inside. So right away, we've got 2 6-ounce filet mignons. If you know anything about steak, it's really rare to see filet mignons with that kind of marbling in it. Just beautiful steak. And then next, we've got the 2 12-ounce USDA prime strip steaks. Just look at how thick these things are. They're just beautiful. Again, beautifully marbled, amazing steak. Then we've got 2 USDA prime ribeyes. And if you like steak that is just mouth-watering, this is the steak for you. With all that marbling inside, you'll see it's thicker. The marbling is a lot thicker. That just means more moisture throughout your steak. Now we've got 6 USDA prime top sirloin steaks. These are the steaks that everyone's going to love. Then we're moving into our next package. Next, we have 16 4-ounce gourmet Angus steak burgers. These are amazing burgers that everyone's going to love. And to top it all off, they give you 1 container of my favorite steak seasoning of all time, the Chicago Steak Spice. And you're going to love it too. So there you have the Classic Prime Assortment, my favorite and your ultimate steak experience. So be sure to order your steak today at mychicagosteak.com. I'm Mark. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and we'll see you next time at mychicagosteak.com.
Tom O'Halloran has a not-so-common core spelling lesson for the Obama administration. Ready? There is no K in America.
There's kids that can't pray in school, $100 tanks of gas. I can tell you right now, this country ain't supposed to be like that. No, that ain't my America. That ain't this country's roots. You wanna slam, hold on to Sam, but I ain't letting you. Yeah, I'm mad as hell, and you know I still bleed red, white, and blue. They ain't us, and that ain't my America. Oh no, that ain't my America. No, 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 no. That ain't my America. Oh no.
And it's the Wednesday edition of the Patriot Radio Show. And I'm your host, Tom O'Halloran. Before the show, or in my intro, I should say, I mentioned the Republic of Texas. They're having their monthly meeting this coming Saturday. It's the 10th of October. It'll be in Lake Jackson, down south, just north of the coast a little bit. So if you're in the area, if you're anywhere near, in fact, whether you're near it or not, drive in from Austin, drive down from Houston, drive down from Dallas. We're talking about the freedom that you want for you and your family, it can be obtained through the Republic of Texas. So take the time, take a day, get down to Lake Jackson and attend the meeting of the Republic of Texas. Go to thetexasrepublic.com, the meeting place, time, map, everything, right there in the front of the website. Check it out and attend. Also like to invite you to a website that I put up this last about a week ago. It's mycontainerproject.com. I'm fixing to obtain some acreage in East Texas and build a residence with an office, a little cabana for entertaining and such, and it will all be made out of shipping containers. So take a look at it, see what you think. I'll have rainwater harvesting, gray water management, solar. It'll be a green, sustainable thing. I've never been real big on the greeny thing, but I like the idea of it, mostly for selfish reasons, I gotta say. I mean, I don't think we can possibly damage the earth. You hear the greenies talking, we're ruining it, we're ruining it. I don't think if everybody used gray water and solar, if everybody drove a green car, I don't think it would make a dent in the quality of our global warming, of our weather, of any of that. But I'm going in that direction because it will save me money as I move into my retirement years. It will mean less electricity that I have to spend, less water I have to rely on from the water reservoirs and such. I'll have a well, and I'll use my water judiciously. And the rainwater harvesting will go a long ways as well. So take a look at it. It's mycontainerproject.com. Moving on. Customs and Border Patrol come out with a new set of rules. This you're not going to believe. Folks, I promised you agitation when we opened this show. This one is beyond belief. Now Border Patrol, instead of just arresting illegal aliens, instead of just arresting them and locking them up and deporting them, now we have to interview them and find out how they feel. Do you feel like you're a man? Yes, you have a penis, but is that the way you identify? What is your gender identity? Would you prefer a man to frisk you or a woman to frisk you? Would you rather ride in a car with men, or would you... Are you serious? These are criminals. They've ridden on the cars, train cars, for weeks, getting across trucks and train cars and everything coming up from Guatemala or wherever, being raped along the way. And now we're going to start feeling touchy-feely about their gender identity. Obama is going out of the way to make sure that the Border Patrol spends more time babysitting and coddling these criminals that are crossing our borders than they do catching criminals. They're there to protect our border, not to protect the gender identity of people that are invading our country. He's wasting dollars. He's wasting manpower. He's wasting time. Pushing his rainbow-colored agenda. Just like he forces countries to embrace homosexuality, whether they want to or not. Because a lot of countries depend on contributions financially from America. And he withholds those if they don't allow gay marriage. Because with Obama, it's all about the agenda, the gay agenda, the Muslim agenda, the anti-American agenda. He doesn't care about people one damn bit. He doesn't care about America at all. It's all about pushing his destructive agenda. Oh, let's see. Next up, Matt Drudge from the Drudge Report, one of the leading websites on the internet today. His website is an aggregator. He takes stories from American Press, from New York Times, from all these other websites, and places headlines and a brief blurb about the story, and then you click on that and you link to the actual story. Much like my own websites, TomO'Halloran.com and so forth. Matt Drudge met with a Supreme Court justice this last week and was told, if you think the Obamacare decision was bad, wait until you see the copyright laws working their way through the courts today. The copyright laws are going to make it, and this Supreme Court justice said that the votes were in the court to get these passed. They're going to make it illegal to link to one website from another, unless you specifically have the first website's permission. Now, what kind of insane is that? The entire internet is websites linking to one another. Website, think spider web. Everything linking to everything else. That's what the entire internet has been built on. But now it's being taken over, and this new agenda is being pushed by companies like Facebook and Twitter, social media companies that control the agenda. You can't post anything you want to post on Facebook. You can't say anything you want to say on Twitter. They don't allow it. It's their website. They control what can be said. On my own website, I can post anything I damn well please. Now, granted, there's libel and there's slander. One has to be careful of what you're saying. But within certain guidelines, as a journalist, no matter how professional or amateurish you are, you've got the ability to link to a story that you believe to be true, unless you have reason to know that it's not. If I link to a story over on Breitbart or The Blaze or WorldNet Daily, if I link to a story over there from my website, it helps them get coverage. It helps get the word out about what they're saying. And most of these companies, most of these websites are happy to get the links to it because it's sending traffic to their website. They don't want you copying their entire story. And even those, a lot of them don't mind as long as you accredit them and link back to them. But what we're seeing now are companies like Facebook and Twitter that are trying to make it illegal to put links on your site going to another site, which would make it impossible for us citizen journalists to tell people what's really going on. This is going to drive more and more traffic, more and more attention back to the mainstream media, who's probably one of the largest financiers of this whole movement, trying to block the new media from growing. Imagine not having the internet to go to for the news, having to rely on the New York Times with their twisted bias, with their outright lies. CNN last week photoshopping a photo of the Oregon bomber or the Oregon shooter shooting up an Oregon school, 9 dead, 9 wounded. And they took this obviously Middle Eastern man, dark skin, and they photoshopped him to be pasty white, like my kinfolk, an Irish face. Not even a tanned American face, a construction worker tan type of thing. No, they went pasty white. Crazy white dude shoots up school. No, it was a Muslim. And we can't rely on the mainstream media. We have to rely on sources like The Blaze, Breitbart, WorldNet Daily, Western School of Journalism. There's a lot of websites that I go to on a daily basis to gather stories to talk about. Heck, I even go to Pravda before I go to our own mainstream media. I get more truthful news out of Russia about American politics than I get from our own mainstream media. The UK has some good newspapers, The Guardian. They'll tell things that our own ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, all that crap. Our own media is nothing but a branch of the American government. Reminds me of the movie Brazil with Robert De Niro. It was written and directed and probably produced by Terry Gilliam from Monty Python. The story of a country. I don't know that it was even identifiable. It could have been the UK. It could have been America. Might have been Brazil. Heck, hence the name. But it was a government that was out of control. They have a Department of Information and they have a Department of Misinformation. And the premise of the movie was just a clerical error. And some clerk tried to get it fixed, and it was a nightmare. Because you couldn't get the truth out of the government. You couldn't get the truth out of the media. And that's what we're moving towards. It's this copyright law. And it isn't just a law. It's a whole series of laws that's going to control what can be said on the internet. The entire First Amendment being abridged. The First Amendment, Congress shall pass no law abridging the right to free speech. And here they are, working on laws to inhibit what we can say on the internet, on our own websites. Stay tuned. This will probably come to pass here in the next 15 months while we still have a liberal piece of crap in the White House. A video hit the internet last week, or possibly over the weekend, of a couple of guys sitting in a car behind a police car. I've not seen the video, so I don't know the words that are being said, but it's obvious that the cop car is in front. And it's obvious that the men in the car that's right behind the police car have a weapon. And from what I hear, they were talking about taking out the cops. That may not be the actual conversation, but the video in itself, without audio, is supposed to be a very ominous threat to the police officers when somebody's sitting behind you, showing that they have a gun. It's now been determined that the characters in the car were members of a 90s rap group that is no longer in fashion. They're staging a comeback and they were looking for some notoriety. One of the rap group has been arrested, and I guess the primary person is still a person of interest and is being sought. The police are talking with the attorney. The attorney claims there was no credible evidence of an imminent threat. I don't know about that. You're sitting right behind police officers with a weapon, and you show the video. Look how close we can get to them. That sounds like a threat to me, and I hope they get jail time for this. I'm sick and tired of these threats on police officers. I'm sick and tired of police officers getting attacked. It's been a couple of weeks now, but we've gone several weeks with a shooting or three every single week. And it's time to put an end to it. And I hope that when they're caught, these people are dealt with very, very severely. Police officers do a lot. And as I said in my police misconduct section, 99-point-something% of them are good, hard-working officers having to deal with bad guys on a daily basis. Their life is, and not all of them, some of them have decent patrols, but many of them are patrolling very dangerous neighborhoods, dealing with very dangerous people. And to have them on the defensive is just so So wrong. My friends, stick with us. We got more when we come back from this. But we do have some bills to pay. It's the Patriot Radio Show on a Wednesday morning. Doc Krupa shows up. Well, better late than never. Stick around. Tomorrow it's Daisy Donovan joining me. Classing up the show a little bit. Okay, fine. Classing up the show a lot.
Girls, I know the one place where you are guaranteed to find a great guy. You know, the kind of guy that carries you off on horseback and flies you to Paris and likes to talk about his feelings. He's at the movies. Well, in the movies. Where else will you find a funny architect with airbrushed abs? Girls are lining up for guys like this, but not you, because you bought your tickets ahead on Fandango. So adios long lines and hello handsome astronaut brain surgeon spy.
Make a date with Fandango, your ticket to the movies.
Family night at the movies is a tradition. It really bonds us together. I love you guys so much. Especially this one. I mean, of course, there's all the, his popcorn's bigger than mine, and she's hitting me. Fandango makes it all so easy with tickets in advance. Honey, you enjoy the chick flick? Kids, you enjoy the animated movie? Daddy's gonna go watch things go boom. That's how we do family movie night.
Bring your family closer together with Fandango, your ticket to the movies.
Girls, I know the one place where you are guaranteed to find a great guy. You know, the kind of guy that carries you off on horseback and flies you to Paris and likes to talk about his feelings. He's at the movies. Well, in the movies. Where else will you find a funny architect with airbrushed abs? Girls are lining up for guys like this, but not you, because you bought your tickets ahead on Fandango. So adios long lines and hello handsome astronaut brain surgeon spy.
Make a date with Fandango, your ticket to the movies.
Family night at the movies is a tradition. It really bonds us together. I love you guys so much. Especially this one. I mean, of course, there's all the, his popcorn's bigger than mine, and she's hitting me. Fandango makes it all so easy with tickets in advance. Honey, you enjoy the chick flick? Kids, you enjoy the animated movie? Daddy's gonna go watch things go boom. That's how we do family movie night.
Bring your family closer together with Fandango, your ticket to the movies.
Boost Mobile believes you deserve more choice. You can pick your phone,
pick your plan,
and you can even pick a new spokesperson and sell that phone.
The Samsung Galaxy S5 will rock your face off!
Give it to me through Tears. Get unlimited talk, text, and data. Starting at $40 a month. Wow.
Pick your phone.
Pick your plan.
And pick your next spokesperson at boostmobile.com.
Visit Boost Mobile through the RER Marketplace.
Patriots, have you ever wondered why Google, Yahoo, AT&T, Comcast, and so many others offer free email? Who offers free stuff these days? They do it so that millions will sign up with them. Then as these people send what they think are private emails, the emails get scanned and tagged according to the content of the emails. These companies then sell your email addresses to companies that are selling things that you may be interested in based upon the content of your emails. If you're a veteran or if you have a vet in your family, go to usvetmail.net. Get an email address, your name at usvetmail.net. It's not only private, but it shows pride in your veteran or your pride of service. We never scan our clients' mail, and we never, ever sell or share your information with anyone. Thank you.
I reckon a storm's a brewing. Reckon so.
Reckon you got a hotel?
Reckon no. Money's tight.
Reckon Priceline Express deals can get you a great deal. Wherever you mosey.
You reckon? We reckon. I reckon our work here is done. Vamonos!
Express deals. Priceline savings without the bidding.
Think he's happy?
Oh, I reckon.
Tom O'Halloran, holding the line against tyranny from Washington, D.C.
I am America, one voice, united we stand. I am America, one hope to heal our land. There is still work that must be done. I will not rest until we've won. I am America.
And welcome back. It's the Thursday edition of the Patriot Radio Show, and I'm your host, Tom O'Halloran. Picking up from a conversation in the chat room, it was pointed out, and I did a story on this several months ago, there are actually more people dying that can be tied to the FDA, the Food Drug Administration. There are more people dying tied to them on a yearly basis than can be tied to the Department of Defense on a 10-year average. I read in a report several months ago when I did this story, there are over 400,000 deaths in America that are tied to prescription drugs. And I'm not talking Oxycontin that's taken and turned into meth or any of this type of abuse. I'm talking your doctor has prescribed these meds to you and it kills you. 400,000 as compared with, 60,000 that died in the Vietnam War? We're losing 400,000 people a year due to prescription drugs. And the only reason they're taking it is because people are led to believe, and I'm getting this from Doc Krupa in the chat room, people being led to believe that they're pharmacy meds deficient. You're deficient in some chemical that we created. If God didn't create it and put it in your body, you can't be deficient in it. And this is why Doc Krupa doesn't dispense drugs from Big Pharma. He uses natural supplements. And all the processed food you eat with all the crap in it, chemicals. This is what's getting people sick. It's not just that you're feeling ill. It's the chemicals they're putting in stuff to preserve food. The stuff they're putting in cows to make them bigger. This stuff gets passed on. That's still in the cow when they shoot it. It's still in the cow when you eat it. It's the chemicals they're putting in our food. There's a movie out. I watched it on Netflix probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. Food Inc. Please find this. I didn't plan on this. This is on, sometimes I have stories lined up to talk about, and this is where I'm taking my show, and sometimes the Spirit moves me in one direction instead. This time the chat room is moving it over there. It is a very, very stunning movie. Watch Food Inc. INC. It talks about how the animals are treated. And I'm not talking about have pity for the animals. Have pity for yourself. You're eating this crap. Okay? Doc Krupa kind of nudged me because I'd seen the video long before I ever met Doc Krupa. And I knew about the crap that was in the food that I was eating, and I was still eating it. Food tastes good. But since meeting Doc Krupa and talking with them, and he's got me off drinking milk, which is basically just white water, because when they homogenize it, they heat it up so hot that there is no living organism in it that is good for you. I now drink raw milk, straight from the cow. It comes out of the udder, goes into a jug, it goes out of the jug and into my gut. Raw milk. I eat beef and pork that is raised as grass-fed. There's no chemicals put in it. And I've never taken medical pharmacy-type drugs, so that's just something I've never had to deal with. I get sick. There's nothing a little bourbon can't get me through. And take a look at Food Inc. Watch the movie. It's a very, very, very devastating movie. It'll make you sick at what you see them putting in food and what they're doing to food. And hopefully it'll change you a lot quicker than it did me, because I watched it, I was disgusted, and I kept eating the same crap. Let me change that. I don't eat processed foods. I don't go and buy food out of the freezer section of the store. I don't go in and buy packaged prepared lasagna. I don't buy prepared anything. But I have kept buying my meat. I buy my vegetables from the vegetable market, generally from a farmer's market. But the processed food, I've never eaten that. Never, ever. Even before I saw the movie Food Inc. But I still had been buying my chicken, my beef, and my pork from Costco. And that's pretty much come to an end. I don't do that. Very little. There's a little bit that I'll pick up when they have a ribeye or something that I'll want to grab. But for the most part, I'm eating a lot healthier. I'm probably in better shape in my 60s than I was in my 40s. So moving forward, and water. Gosh, got to tell you, spring water. Don't drink the bottled stuff unless it says spring on it. DocKrupa.com to catch his radio show. It's DRKROUPA for his website, but his radio show is DocKrupa.com. Boy, he's a sponsor of mine, but I'm going to have to double his fees for this month because this turned into a segment on nutrition. Okay, a couple of things wrapping up. The Islamic invasion of Europe. It is as I predicted. I said it was not a Syrian refugee problem. These people were neither Syrians nor refugees. 78% of the people coming into the EU are males, 18 to 35, not a refugee profile. Now it's being reported that in these refugee centers, these scumbag savages are urinating on the women. They are raping the women at will, repeatedly on a daily basis. They are savages. Islamists do not recognize women as being equal or even being in the same species. Women are there to be used. They are savages. The story started leaking out of Germany this last week, and rather than looking into the savages that are urinating on women, the authorities in Germany are trying to find out who leaked the story. Sounds like America, doesn't it? They don't go after the bad guys, they go after who told. Also, someone uncovered a picture of a refugee settling with his family in Germany. Muslim, with the typical Muslim beard. And they found another picture of the same man holding a severed head. Like we've been saying, these are not refugees, these are terrorists. These are ISIS terrorists wearing immigrants' clothes, telling sad stories but using fake documents. He severed a person's head, holding the head up to show the camera. Next, you see him standing with some children. Wake up, America. Obama wants to bring 200,000 of these savages into our country each and every year. Are we going to allow it? We hadn't better, because it'll be your heads or your children's heads being held. This has been the Wednesday edition of the Patriot Radio Show. I'm your host, Tom O'Halloran. Good day, America. God bless you and yours. I'm out. Tune in tomorrow when I'm joined by my co-host, Daisy Donovan. Much nicer than I am. But then I ain't here to be nice.